Swerve Strickland called out WWE, question mark, is what many people are asking themselves today. Swerve was on The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy, and others, and was asked about a story about WWE reaching out to him and his representation back in the day. Here's what Swerve had to say about that. Let's see if we can play the clip, Carol.
Sure, Big You're going to have to go away for a second.
WWE felt your contract was above market price.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody complain that somebody got too much money. That's what they said earlier.
Well, they only complain when a black person gets paid. I will say that when it gets paid.
Yeah.
And that's what, once again, we shake the foundation and things like that because it's like, oh, snap, wait. And it's not what we would pay. I'm like, then why are you calling me? Why are you asking me?
Right.
You know, like if I'm not your concern, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about my pockets and our money. We good. Like you have your talent and you made your decision with me 2 years ago. No hard feelings from me. Boom, I keep it moving. I'm gonna figure my way out and I'm gonna build myself up.
There it is.
So there we go. Swerve Strickland taking a shot there at WWE. Look, we had heard the story that came out that there were people in WWE, officials, that were unhappy with the money that AEW was giving out to people. Swerve Strickland was one of those people. Begs the question, Kenny Baum, did AEW overpay for Swerve? But more importantly, is he right that WWE can go be mad about it somewhere else if they were indeed mad about him inflating the market?
I don't think they overpaid for him at all because we look at what he was doing in WWE with, what was it? What was their group's name? Hit Row. I think it was really good, but he didn't seem like he could be at the top of the card at all. He just seemed like another guy like Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, who would be flying on the mid-card, floundering at the bottom with top dollar and everybody else. But when he came into AEW, he was still that same guy, but you could tell he was like pushing to be something more. He was bringing in these big stars, but at the end of the day, what really matters is what you do in the ring, and I think that's where he was really delivering. Promos still need a little bit of work, but I think he is vastly and greatly improving, and if he demanded a certain price, I think AEW is right to have locked him in, opposed to letting him go to WWE and become a huge megastar like I think he is on the path to be on. So, you know what? I don't think they overpaid him at all, and I just think it's weird because, like he said in this clip, he said they only complain when a black man gets paid. We heard Mercedes Moné got this big contract. Big shouts out to her. I mean, I guess she's a half black woman, but Okada, huge contract. Will Ospreay, huge contract. But now when Swerve gets one, they're like, they're overpaying these wrestlers. What are they doing over there? They're hurting the business. So why does this conversation come about when Swerve gets his money? So I see why he feels that way. I don't know if it's just coming off that way because this is, you know, them WWE seeing AEW sign so many wrestlers to big contracts, but it is kind of funky. I don't know.
Kero, what do you think?
Well, I have to see if WWE themselves or anybody that is tied to the WWE also made a comment that is similar to this, like saying, insinuating somehow that, oh yeah, we don't want to pay that much for Swerve, like he doesn't deserve that much.
It was reported.
Money.
Yeah, it was reported.
It was reported.
Who reported it, Big Om, you know?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was either Wrestling Observer or PW Insider. But
so, like,
go ahead, kiddo.
If someone from the WWE said it, yeah, then I think he has a great point. Then, like, what are you even talking about? Like, it's just a bad look overall. And the fact that he's, you know, wanting this much money, wants to get paid this much is absolutely normal. I feel like because AEW, when it comes to that company, he's one of the biggest successes of that company. Like in general, like so. He was basically, like you said, Kenny, a mid-carder at best. And to be honest, I didn't really even notice him in the WWE itself. Like the only reason I knew Isaiah Swerve Scott in the WWE was because of the video game. And that was it. It was not noticeable in the slightest. And the Hit Row people, I mean, you look at everybody else right now. Top Dollar, I think he's doing some decent work actually in TNA, but he's on TNA, you know, like Ashante the Adonis, that's who we don't care about. And then the other girl, I don't even remember her name, but that's also who we don't.
What you mean?
B-Fab, there you go.
Respect. Shout out to B-Fab.
So, you know, he kind of found a new person to help him, which is Prince Nana. And yeah, took himself to a main event level. I respect that. And AEW helped with it a lot as well. They gave him the championship. Tony trusted him. They created a new star. before AEW, his name value was definitely not here. So even looking at that, it would be like if he went to the WWE right now, like AEW did all the hard work by creating the star, and WWE is just gonna take it. It wouldn't really sit right, anyways, with me, and I don't think it sits right with Swerve either. I mean, after everything that AEW has done for him, he's definitely loyal to that company. Like, I cannot say the same thing about everybody there, but yes, Swerve seems pretty adamant about his situation. But again, time will tell. I'm sure we'll see him in the WWE sometime, like maybe years later, but not anytime soon.
That's interesting you say that, Kiddo, because he actually commented on that as well, which I'll show y'all. But it was reported by the Wrestling Observer, though.
Mm-hmm.
They said WWE was reportedly upset over AEW high salaries, and this came out when Strickland got paid that big money. So,
right.
I mean, I could see why they would be upset, though, because if AEW's paying the wrestlers more, then WWE has to pay the wrestlers more as well in order to keep them.
Oh my God.
But this is this was also on the Breakfast Club. So Swerve Strickland was asked if he would go back to WWE. Swerve says, "Nah, I'm happy building in AEW. I'm happy building myself in AEW. AEW has given me something that I don't think WWE would or could ever give me. I'm really proud of that, and I wave the flag proudly because Tony Khan didn't take a chance on me. He didn't take a chance on me. He knew that what he wanted from me. He put me in this position and said, now grow."
Whoa, what the hell? Pause.
Oh, well, yeah, that's crazy. What avenues do I have to grow? Whatever you want. There were no perimeters, no red tape. I learned how to become a true businessman on top of being a professional wrestler. That's why the mogul persona is truly personified in AEW. It let me be my best self as a man and a professional. So it sounds like Swerve Strickland is completely satisfied with his run in AEW, and he is not interested at all in going back to WWE as of right now. Because if he cooks in AEW and becomes a super duper star by the time this next contract comes up, WWE will pretty much, I'm sure, give him a blank check, much like I'm sure they did Cody Rhodes.
They got a couple of $1 billion, so yeah, like I cannot say he's never going to the WWE, because you never know what's going to happen to both companies. Yeah. But this really feels like the fact that he's so comfortable in AEW. Off camera, we talked about Sting. Like, he, instead of going to the WWE, he went to TNA. Because, yeah, he wasn't going to get that much money maybe, but he was going to wrestle in a setting that is way more comfortable. He's going to have a good schedule. He's going to go ahead and have a creative control. So you don't have to go for the biggest game in town. You can still be satisfied with your personal growth. And everything that you just read off to us, Kenny, really does seem like, yeah, he is adamant about staying in AEW. I could honestly trust what he's saying way more than MJF, for example. Like, if MJF showed up suddenly after his contract is over in the WWE, I wouldn't be surprised. But if Swerve did that, I would be surprised. So this puts that into perspective for me.
Hey man, it's just business. But speaking of which, it brings up this idea of like, I think like wrestling fans are gonna talk about it. Like, it's one thing to talk about like someone getting overpaid if you're a fan, right? In like a sport like football, because there's like a salary cap, right? And like every team each year only has like a certain amount of money they're allowed to spend on players. If they go over, then they have to cut other players in order to like make the math work. Like, you have a certain amount, everyone does. When people in football or basketball or whatever get mad about like people being overpaid, I think a lot of times it's just like, man, we're overpaying because we won't be able to afford other good players, right? With respect to this, it's pro wrestling. There's no salary cap. There's nothing restricting you. The only thing that's restricting WWE from spending money on other people is themselves. So I don't want to hear this BS argument from professional wrestling fans, allegedly professional wrestling fans. They're like, oh my God, they overpaid for. Look, if they overpaid for someone, good. You know what that means? If you think someone is dog poop, and they are like the worst professional wrestler you've ever seen, and they just got overpaid, you know what that does? That means that the bottom tier of pro wrestlers are leveling up. That means that the people who you think are really good are about to get paid even more. And that is good for wrestlers, because for the longest time, pro wrestlers have been taken advantage of financially. Their bodies have been abused by a sport that peddled drugs to them, a sport that, incentivized them to work while hurt, and all the horrible things that we know are true going back to like the origins of pro wrestling, the early 1900s, late 1800s. Like, this has been a long thing. Like, promoters have scammed wrestlers out of money for wrestlers to even begin to start being paid not even what they're worth. Ain't no way Swerve Strickland's getting paid what he's worth, because realistically, he's probably worth more to that, triple probably what he's getting paid
compared
right now
to NBA, any other sport. You're right.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, they are getting closer to that number. They are getting paid more. That is a good thing for wrestling. It's a good thing for wrestlers, and it's going to inspire more people to become wrestlers. Why do people want to become NBA stars? Yes, of course, you're on TV. You're, you're great at what you do. You're playing a game, all that stuff. But on top of that, financially, it's a viable thing for you to do. Like, it is a lot of money. It's like top dollar, top $5, top $20, top everything. Shout out to Tony Khan for the blank envelope. But at the end of the day, I think fans need to stop this like BS argument of X person got overpaid, right? And especially if you're a wrestling company, that is the cutest thing I've ever heard, bro. WWE, TKO talking about, with these ticket prices, you better be able to afford Swerve Strickland when he's a free agent. $600 for Bad Blood, a C-tier pay-per-view? You got me messed up, Triple H. Let's go. Come on. Stop talking about
it's
it.
a good thing
but listen,
overall.
WWE got these billion-dollar TV deals, and we heard AEW, apparently their TV deal is not going to be worth $1 billion, and they're still paying their wrestlers all of this money. So WWE has no excuse not to pay their wrestlers better than they are if AEW can do it with smaller TV deals. So hopefully, this just makes the industry go the route of actually wrestlers getting paid more.
Welcome, Kenny.
I don't want to prolong the video, but they have Tony Khan and the Khan family behind AEW, kind of end this pool of money.
You do understand that they are not pulling from Tony Khan's money after this TV deal. Like, the whole point is to become sustainable, and when this deal goes through, they're going to be.
Okay, I hope that's the case, because that means they're gonna be, I guess, more serious, and like they're gonna have to optimize the show and make it better so that they make money. And hey, when you follow the money, usually good stuff happen. So you know what? That makes me hopeful about AEW. We'll see, because this whole fantasy booking aspect of Tony Khan, whatever he can do, he wants to do, he can do. I think that's been a bit of a downfall for AEW, and this might fix it. But I'll see it when it happens. That's what I'll say.
And I am a sicko, bro. Let's go. All the money. Let's go. Look at this. Look at this.
Come on,
my last.
let's
go. You already know what it is. This is about $8. How much is that in Turkey, Carol?
Oh,
how much is that in Turkey?
You can buy 5 houses in Turkey with that.
Let's go, baby.
Or you can buy one of this ring that you might want to kiss.
But make sure you kiss it.
Subscribe for more wrestling content.